Welcome everybody back to COOLDOG. It's been about 2 months since you last saw us. And I am, of course, actually Aksel. Welcome to my co-host, Hooverr.
You can call me Jack, you can call me Hooverr. What the fuck? There's fucking sound effects now? Yay!
We got investment. We got money now.
We got money. We did not get Spotify. Oh, you're too kind, too kind. Jack or Hooverr. You can call me Hooverr. And the winner is Stonepaw for the world's biggest nerd.
Oh, I thought you were about to say world's biggest wiener because there have been rumors.
How would you know that he has the world's biggest wiener, dude?
You haven't heard that? It's just me. You haven't heard that rumor?
No.
Ooh.
World's biggest wiener is simple.
See, I've kind of come to the conclusion that our listeners are a bunch of morons and they need a laugh track. They need a laugh track to know when to laugh. They don't get it. So that's kind of like what we're doing here right now. Is we got, you know.
That's how the cookie crumbles.
I should add a fart sound effect and just try to put it in somewhere.
You know, like I'm like talking about like serious things. Like, so then my mom like left me for days on end. It was like,
we need to have more serious podcasts. I feel like that's really the downfall of the podcast. We just joke around too much. We need to get serious.
And this podcast is no exception to that rule. Because tonight we're doing a drunk podcast. That's right. I'm 21. I can drink alcohol.
P-shot.
And this goes out to SFan TV. It's my first time drinking alcohol, man.
That's amazing. Yeah. To anybody who might have missed it, our wonderful Hooverr of the COOLDOG turned 21 years old about a week ago.
About a week ago. Remember when Vine should be like, about a week ago, and then it'd go.
Yup. Dude, take me back to that time. No, I do miss it. Nah, not Vine, though. I'm not one of those people that's like, I miss Vine. I don't really care
was like
Vine.
one of those people for a while, and then I realized, like, who cares?
Dude, my Vines used to get no views. It's bullshit.
I had a Vine that actually did pretty well of me. I don't know what it was a joke of. But I just remember, like, I was, like, doing something stupid. I was, like, trying to be, like, a Viner. I was, like trying to make a joke, and I did, like, this. And I was, like, oh. And I played, like, a sound effect. And I got, like, 100 likes. And I was, like, dude, this is awesome.
What? How did it gain traction? Did Vine have, like, a good For You page like TikTok did? Because I don't remember really using it at all.
I forget how. I think there was hashtags, and I think Revine was a thing. And I remember one of my friends revined it, and he had like a big Viner that followed him some reason because like a follow for follow thing. And then he was like, "Yo, this is so funny." I think he revined it, but that's like long ago.
You got revined, bro.
Now. Revine for Revine, man. I could have been a big Viner. I feel like if I was, the age I am now.
I think, yeah.
If only there's like a app that like would be similar to Vine.
I feel like getting getting views on Vine would be so easy because you just gotta be random. You gotta like fill that 6 seconds with like, you gotta like kind of catch the viewer off guard, and then there you go. There's a Vine that like is gonna go viral. We could easily play into that shit.
Can you imagine if the Core 4 house, instead of like us all being streamers or like making YouTube videos, our whole thing was that we all made Vines together, like how like King Batch and like Amanda Cerny and Lily Pons made TikToks.
It's not too late.
But that backflip though for Weston.
We could become a like crazy TikTok house.
Oh my god. And we get the Bang energy drinks and we like record it on like the Core 4 house TikTok account.
But then Kaylin would have to post it on TikTok, and I don't know if that would ever happen.
Oh, true. I mean, I don't get like why she hasn't posted a TikTok in like, is it almost now like 4 years or 3 years?
It's kind of powerful though, if you think about it. Like it's kind of like her like Frank Ocean era. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but she doesn't want to admit it because she hates sad music, which is like the worst fucking excuse for not liking Frank Ocean.
Well, you know what the reality is that viewers appreciate when you always want to leave the viewer wanting for more, and Kaylin has done that by posting 2 TikToks.
True.
Because
we don't know what's left in the tank, you know? We don't know like what kind of ideas like brewing in the Kaylin Corey mind.
Could be some controversial stuff that she could have posted. You know, we don't know.
I think she could have had a draft on January 6th. I'll tell you that much. You know?
Oh yeah, could have gone political. Could have been a that's not moment.
Oh wait, hold on. I need to explain myself. Like
friend of the show.
It's
Kelly
a capital,
Clarkson.
Kaylin. It's a capital, Kaylin.
No wait, I don't think it's Kelly Clarkson. Kelly Osbourne. Kelly
Clarkson's like the 40-year-old virgin thing that Steve Carell shouted, where he, like when he was getting waxed, like, "Oh, right. Kelly Clarkson."
Oh, dude, that's actually a sick reference. I saw a TikTok clip of that recently.
Yeah, man, yeah.
Have you also been recently getting a bunch of TikToks where it's like a bunch of like, first of all, it's like a duet of a TikTok clip where it's a bunch of like straight dudes talking on a podcast, and it's literally the most like empty conversation ever imaginable. Like it'll be like, I recently saw this one TikTok that was like making fun of it. It was just a TikTok of like these fucking male podcasters be like, yeah, man, like women are pretty awesome. Like seriously. And then like the co-host, like, no, yeah, like women are like, no, like for real, like they are different than men for sure. And then like, and then it's just like, going back and forth, like,
they are.
No, yeah, like, and then they have like boobs and stuff. Like that's pretty sick. And the co-host is like, no, yeah, like they definitely do have some titties, and like it's crazy. Like it's like, and then like everybody's just causing this uprising where it's like not everybody needs to have a podcast, and then that caused me to become insecure, and I was like, do I need to have a podcast? But then I was like, we got way more to say than those bozos.
No, yeah, I think that we're like actually funny and like actually can come up with like witty comments and have a good conversation.
And this episode, we're going to start reading off vaccine side effects, quoting statistics that our friends told us, and hopefully like getting as many people off the vaccine as possible.
Okay, and I'll start with our good friend Weston Corey, who had the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. So if you had the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, listen up for this one. He said that when he took the Johnson & Johnson, he was fine, but then the next day his testicles were bleeding and he was peeing a lot of blood. So watch out for that one. Probably don't get Johnson & Johnson.
This is true.
Mm-hmm. And this is true. And it's pretty crazy that this happened to Weston Corey, because it's actually happened to 50,000 Americans. Look up the research. You might not see it because the government's suppressing us, and I think you should just do your own research and assume what you want to assume.
I had like an old like doctor buddy of mine who, before the vaccine.
Doctor buddy of mine. like this is some like fucking 23-year-old doctor that you just know from like Estonian school.
An old buddy of mine was a doctor, and like he, before the vaccine, married man with like kids, and like loving the wife, like having a lot of sex with the wife. Took the vaccine. Now he's like kissing boys and like going to clubs and stuff. Like,
ew. Ew! That's what the vaccine is doing to us, guys. Joe Biden, what are you putting in this this vaccine? They're putting 100 gex in this vaccine. What are they doing?
Have you seen what happened to Stompa after he took the vaccine? That guy was on Twitch,
dude.
No, low-key, like posting conservative stuff. Took the vaccine. I've seen him say yas. Like, dude, he wants to put one of those binkies into his mouth. Like, it's real talk. Dude, like, it fucks it up.
It's actually crazy. Like, Stompa, before he took the vaccine, would like sit down and listen to Metallica, AC/DC, like John Bon Jovi, like all these old like people. And then now he's listening to like fucking 100 gex, Arca, like Sophie, all these like hyperpop people. And it's like, did Stompa just get yassified by the vaccine? Like I don't want to like point out conclusions or like assume that like he has been like, changed, but like his music taste has definitely changed for sure. Like you look at his Spotify, I'll look at his Spotify right now. Let me see what he's listening to right now. Dude, he's listening to a Ringtone remix featuring Charlie XCX, Rico Nasty, Carico Benito, dude. Like,
dude, that
goes to show. That goes to show. I mean, that's a fucking core four. That's a core four of homosexual music.
No, like an old buddy of mine is like a stock trader on Wall Street, and he like
really
and he told me that like Arca is like a part owner in Pfizer. So I think this is like kind of interesting that people get vaccinated and all of a sudden they start listening to Arca. Like, the whole system is built up this way.
That's insane, man. That actually leads me on to our second segment where we just read out movie facts in hopes that our TikTok clips get over 500,000 views. Did you know that Psycho is the first U.S. film to feature a toilet flushing?
I've never even seen Psycho. Like, what is that?
Psycho is a movie by Alfred Hitchcock. And, it's about this guy who's like a psycho and he's like crazy. He's killing people all around. And it's actually the first movie in cinema history to ever feature a flushing toilet, which is kind of crazy to think about.
What? Like, dude, I flush my toilet every day, and like, I don't even think about like that. There was a time before, you couldn't flush a toilet.
Oh yeah, it's crazy, man. Like back then, people used to like leave poop like like in the toilet bowl for other people to flush. Like it's kind of crazy how like that was like a tradition passed down, and it was the first time you ever saw a flushing toilet in cinema.
Imagine being the first guy to like clog a toilet, though.
True. That guy was fucked.
That would be scary.
Because what came first, the plunger or like the clogged toilet? You know what I mean? Like, I feel like
the plunger definitely came after.
It came after. So the first guy was like, "Oh, dude, what do I do?" And he's like, he's really stressing because like he's got like a house party going on, and like everyone's like using the bathroom, and he's like, "Guys, hold on a second," because his toilet's clogged.
That's like crazy to think about. Like, and his name was Mark Clog. The first guy who clogged the toilet,
God, dude,
his name was Mark Clog. Yeah, so basically, the story is that like in 2006, Mark Clog went to a Subway.
2006? Imagine like being like 2000, born before 2000s, and you've never seen. The plunger was invented after 9/11, is what you're telling me right now. Like,
yeah, like
9/11 happened, and then 5 years later, like we gotta solve this clogged toilet problem we got going on.
No, like. An old like psychologist buddy of mine who's actually a psychologist in New York. He was saying that like after 9/11 people just started pooping a lot more out of nervousness, and skip to 2006, Mark Clog is at the Times Square subway, and he says to his family, I'm going to go take a dump, and well, you wouldn't believe it. Mark Clog tries to press the toilet and it's not going down. Water was overflowing and there was no device. So yeah, that's why since then we've started calling it clogging a toilet.
That is insane. Like we got a Pfizer within 1 year of coronavirus, but it took 5 years for anyone to invent a plunger after 9/11. Like that's the whole thing is like, after 9/11, a lot of people started clogging their toilets and they didn't know what to do. So then 5 years later down the line, some guy was like, I have a plunger for you all. Yay, it's been solved.
We need to think about that. Like our first instinct was to go to war in countries that had nothing to do with it, rather than focusing on problems back at home where, we needed some real help back home with the plunger. People were clogging all over the place.
They were clogging public bathrooms. They were clogging private bathrooms. Nobody was safe.
You got any more like crazy, awesome cinema facts?
Did you know that the wallet in Pulp Fiction was Quentin Tarantino's?
There's a wallet in Pulp Fiction? No way, man.
Yeah, I know. That's kind of crazy. There was also a crazy fact is... hold on. The most profitable film of all time is Paranormal Activity. Isn't that insane?
What? Is that
the
real?
The most profitable film of all time is Paranormal Activity, according to this fucking... Best Life Movie Facts article, because apparently it costed $60,000 to make, and it made $89 million upon release. So, technically the most profitable film.
Wow, good for
but
them.
I feel like
like when you release a movie, like you kind of want it to be like profitable. So like that's a great achievement for them.
True. It is a great achievement. Also, another fact underneath is the two least profitable films of all time both take place on Mars. Isn't that kind of funny?
I always knew The Martian was going to flop.
The Martian and Mars Needs Moms.
Mars Needs Moms?
Mm-hmm. It's a Disney movie, actually, and it flopped. I mean, the fact that you just said it like that,
Whenever something of Disney doesn't do well, I become insanely happy.
Because Walt Disney was a anti-Semite.
He was an anti-Semite, probably like homophobic. Like we don't know his.
Oh yeah.
Back then, like they just wouldn't talk about it. But if he would have had Twitter today, I wonder what he would have to say about
I'll
the
tell you
state
that
of
much.
things.
You've been following Stompa,
God, we gotta
about that one.
We gotta get Stompa on this pod at one point.
Have you not had him already?
No.
We should get him on. Next episode will be Stompa.
See, that's the thing is though, like I also don't care. We've already had on. Like I'll have Prezzo on again, as soon as possible because he's just.
I mean, you had him on when I wasn't on.
Yeah. Hamza,
trio,
love to have
trio
him on.
hasn't been made already.
Yeah, true.
Plus, that could be like another drunk episode, because he loves this stuff, Fireball.
Oh wow, there you have it.
I know. I have a whole.
You've gotten into alcohol very fast.
I know. You know what's funny is like I was 21. I never had a sip of alcohol because if I did, it would have been illegal. And I just like started drinking that stuff on my birthday, and I actually kind of see where people are coming from with this stuff. I'll take a shot to that. Won't you?
I don't have a shot to take. I'm out of beer. But
you're out of beer?
But
come on, you gotta come prepared. Okay, we got wine. Now, I can't see this bottle of wine because it looks like he's filming this on a DSi. I believe that he has it, but...
Yep.
Now, you'll drink this with me?
Yeah, I'll drink it with you.
Okay. For the people at home, to tally, Aksel and I were like, okay, should we pregame the podcast? And he was like, yeah, I'm already pregaming. So I was like, okay. And then I asked Aksel, I'm like, how many drinks have you had? And he's like, 4 or 5. And I have had... so far, 9 shots, and this will be my 10th. So,
I am a lightweight, though. And
he's a lightweight, and I'm a heavyweight. So, but I'm definitely feeling this. 10 shots, I feel like for like most people, I feel like this would kill a cow.
Ooh, cheers. Ooh, I look a little bit silly. I look a little bit silly through this glass.
I literally see like 2 like pixels when you put up the glass to your face.
It's fine. It'll look good in the podcast. It doesn't matter what you see. Nobody cares.
True.
Well, was that good?
But yeah.
You like that?
It was good. Kind of like our London trip, or should I say Brighton trip.
Yeah, that was pretty good. It's been like 3 months since that happened, it feels like.
It's been 3 months since that happened. We were going to record a podcast during that time, and then we just didn't get around to it. And then now we're here 3 months later.
Honestly, though, I feel like I have no regrets about not making podcasts. I just feel like for a while I didn't have anything to say. I feel like my mind was just, I was focused on other things. And I feel like if I would have made a podcast during a lot of those times, like I feel like I might have just trauma dumped.
True.
That's what might have. So it's like, I feel like a time off was necessary. And I feel like now we can hopefully just kind of set course on history.
The COOLDOG voyage,
Yeah.
Because, I mean, it was one of those things too where like, we got done with the trip in England. We were going to record a podcast. We didn't. It was fine. And then we had Thanksgiving. And then after that, it was like December. And we were all kind of doing our own things because you were kind of weren't you still in Brighton for a bit?
I was in Brighton until the 15th of December. And then I came home and realized and found out I had no apartment to stay in really for much longer. So then I was in a hotel for like a week. I think more than a week, actually. It might have been like a week and a half. And now I'm in an Airbnb looking for an apartment, which I want to get into later because, oh my God, I fucking hate landlords so much. But yeah.
I actually love them.
And then you were obviously at home. And then also like, it was just busy for
it was a busy time. December was really busy.
Even if we would have made a podcast when I got back from the UK, that would have been like one podcast, and then we wouldn't have been able to make another one. Because then also the server came out, and then I was like, I'm already like streaming like fucking 7 hours a day. Like I have nothing else to say.
Yeah, I mean like, and especially now because new variant alert, guys, Omicron is out and about, and literally everyone in Austin, Texas has it. There's not much to do, and there's not much to really happen in the world besides, Omicron shutting down everything and people just kind of staying inside more. So, I mean, there's not like a whole lot to talk about, but I feel like it's kind of better when we don't have like topics to talk about, like a fucking news show, and we just like free ball and talk about like whatever. Because
I also like
it's like a conversation.
Something that I've really thought about recently is I just fucking hate how like every podcast feels like they need to like cover everything. You know what I mean?
I feel like they shouldn't have to.
They shouldn't have to. No, like I don't think every person needs to have an opinion on everything. That's why Joe Rogan is like insane right now. Like all these clips of Joe where he's just putting his like you watch an episode of his and it's like he's talking like he's a fucking virologist. It's unreal. Like why is he taking on this fucking quest of I must spread my COVID information that literally always gets disproven? And then his most recent fucking patch, I didn't even really watch the clip, but I saw like a bunch of articles being like, this is like insane that he said this. And he like right before we started recording, he put out a little statement where he's like, I'm sorry. That was wrong. And it was this video. He literally called the video cringe.
Oh my God. He's like, dude, that was a cringe moment. Like, I'm sorry for being cringe. Posting cringe online. I'm sorry.
But
that's kind of big.
Why? Like, why are you doing this in the first place? Like, why are you like go back to talking about apes or some shit? Like,
just have Joey Diaz on again and he's like, cocksucker, I fucking fucked the hooker in the fucking hotel room. Like, that's what we want to hear. We don't want to hear fucking Ben Shapiro or some fucking dumb like right-wing person be like, the vaccine, people die with the vaccine. It's like, whoa, crazy, man. I can't believe people die with the vaccine. It's like, it's just so over repetitive and like, it's not interesting anymore.
But yeah, the UK was fun. The UK
was fun.
UK was like
had
super
alcohol legally,
Yeah, it was a big day for you. It was like a really big moment. I was
like, what is beer, guys? What is this beer? This craft beer here? And I'm like, ooh, kind of good. And then I learned my love for Sambuca in London or in England.
Yeah, Sambuca was something that I liked at first, but then I got a little bit tired.
I haven't had it in a while. I wanted to get it for my birthday, but then we went to the liquor store and they were like, we don't have Sambuca. And then also when I showed them my ID, they're like, you're just now turning 21? And I was like, yeah. And you're like, oh, really? Like, yeah, I'm just now turning 21. Like, oh, happy birthday, I guess. Because they thought,
I thought they were going to be like, come
older.
back tomorrow.
No, they're like, I think they thought I was way older than 21. Or like older than 21 at least. They're like, you're turning 21 now? It's like, yeah. And they're like, oh, happy birthday. And they give me a discount. Got some Neft vodka, which I only got because of Will Neff. And it sounded similar. And I was like, oh, I'll get it. And then we got this Deep Eddies orange, but it was grapefruit. And the grapefruit is now out. And we only have orange left. So, yeah. Kind of crazy.
Damn. You're like an alcohol expert now.
I know. It's almost as if like I had knowledge before I was drinking at 21.
The thing about like, okay, underage drinking though, like let's cut the crap for a second.
Cringe.
Underage drinking, I was about to say like real talk, when you're like a little teenager drinking, God, it feels so badass.
No, literally, it feels like you're like, oh my God, like look at me, I'm like drinking. And I'm not supposed to be drinking.
The first time when I got drunk when I was like 15, oh my God. I feel like that was like one of the greatest nights of my life.
I'm the exact same. I was like, dude, I remember because for me, one of the first times I like really, really got drunk was at my VidCon house when it was like 2018. And I think I was like 16 or 17. And I really hadn't gotten drunk. And like so long, and I was like with all these people, and I was like, dude, man, like my own Airbnb, like no parents are around, like I can just drink whatever I want. And I got drunk, and I was like, oh my God, this is crazy.
It's such a big moment. It's this weird feeling of I made it. I made it.
I don't know. I was in a house with YouTubers, some of which I watched when I was like younger, and I was hanging out with all my friends. We were drinking in an Airbnb during VidCon 2018. And I was like, dude, this is awesome. What's better than this? Guys being dudes.
Yeah. I was thinking more in the sense of I made it to like to the point in my life where I can drink. Because when you're a kid, everybody's like, don't drink. You always watch everybody get drink, and then they get drunk and they act a little bit silly, and then you're like and then you get drunk and you think to yourself, "Wow, I am here.
I'm so silly right now. I'm so like
your
them."
sense of like maturity immediately inflates. You think, "Oh, I'm the biggest adult ever because I'm 15 years old drinking a beverage."
Literally.
I can't remember the first time I got drunk, but I remember like the first couple times. I just remember the feeling of it. I remember feeling like, "Whoa, this is like, wow, like this is how like I should feel every day."
I should feel like this every day, man. I'm drunk and I'm like feeling crazy. No, I was like, I had drank before I went to VidCon in 2018, and I didn't really get drunk. I think it was more so one of those things like I had a couple of drinks. I was like, whoa, I'm like a little tipsy. And I wasn't like drunk. But like when I got like actually drunk when I was like 16, 17, I was like, whoa, dude. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Because then also one of the people at our house had gin. I was like, this is like it's such a manly drink, you know, like gin, gin and tonics. That's what you hear when like James Bond and shit. I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna have some gin. And then I was like, whoa, this is so gross and whatever. I'm drunk right now. It was like such a crazy experience for me though.
Yeah, gin
drunk,
is
man.
Gin is just the worst. I hate the gin. I hate the gin.
You hate the gin, man? Oh my God!
Ooh, you just dripped a little bit.
I just dripped it all over my fucking. I love drippy red. Yeah, I love
drippy red.
This is my 11th shot, I think, or 10th. I don't know.
Damn, you're going crazy. You're gonna pass out on that bed later.
No, yeah, you're definitely right. Like, I definitely like as soon as this podcast is over, I'll turn off my camera and I'll literally just like lay on my bed and pass out because and I'll turn on my fucking fan. That's the other thing is like I don't know if they can see it in the camera right now. My fan is right there. I always have it on when like I'm on my computer or whatever, but it picks up during COOLDOG, so I turn it off. But as soon as it's over, I'm turning that shit on and I'm laying in my bed and I'm passing out. Probably. I don't know. I might even go live.
Might go live. Whoa. That's crazy. Very powerful statement of you.
I say a lot of statements in my life, and I realize half of them I fucking actually commit to, and half of them I don't. So, you gotta take your odds.
Commit to about 10% of everything I say. I just say things and then hope maybe something will happen.
No, yeah, that's the thing with me where, like, I was talking to fucking Maya about it the other day. She's like, oh, what do you like better, like YouTube or Twitch? And I was like, well, obviously I have Twitch stream all the time. Well, not all the time, but in comparison to my YouTube, I do stream technically way more than I upload. And so I was like, yeah, it's just way easier because like if I press the button to record and go live, then like I actually will do it and it'll actually be content. But like when I used to do videos, I have so many videos I've recorded, but they have never been touched in Adobe Premiere Pro or whatever. Like they haven't been edited because I'm just like, I don't want to get around to editing them. Mm-hmm. So then, yeah, it's just like I have all these videos I want to edit, but I don't have like the fucking willpower in me to fucking edit them. So that's why I love streaming more.
You just got to get an editor. Just got to get like a big, like somebody to do it for you.
I just need to get my bag up and then I can start paying these editors regularly and then I'm making $15.
Why pay them? Half of the other YouTubers don't pay
That's
them.
The thing is like, I just hate when they're like, oh, I don't know why I only got paid in exposure. Like, be grateful. Like, I don't know.
Exactly. There's no need. Like,
there's no need for money, dude.
When you're a celebrity, you don't pay for things. Like, when are they going to learn that?
Yeah, if you edit enough videos, I might like get you a fucking follow back from like Jack Manifold. Okay, like, be grateful for that.
Yeah, the UK was fun. It was. I've been to the UK many, many times in my life. Mm-hmm. But
my first.
Yeah, it was your first, which is kind of crazy. What was your?
I know. Was
that your first time abroad?
Yeah, it was my first time out of the United States. I got my passport ahead of time. I was ready to go. And when I got there, I'm going to tell you right now, all the bad fast food in America is so good in England that, like, it's crazy. Like, KFC is good. Burger King is good. McDonald's is pretty good. Like, it was so fun eating food and drinking and hanging out with good people like James married Aria, Jack Manifold, Nikki, Tommy in it. for a bit.
Tom Unit was there for like 10 minutes.
I know that's actually kind of funny that we met Tom Unit for like 10 minutes. He ordered a Sprite and then he just left.
Yeah, he never even. By the time that the Sprite arrived, he wasn't there anymore.
I know. So then it just sat in the middle of the table. But I know. I feel like that's such a baller move.
That is a baller move, considering that he also wasn't the one who paid for it.
True. Who paid for it?
I have no idea. I guess it's us. I guess it got split between all of us.
True, because the bill was split. Because I remember I was like, God, like I'm not gonna make up for this bill because everyone was getting food and I wasn't getting food. Then I had like 6 cocktails, and I was like, oh wait, that like adds up to everyone else's like meals and like drinks. Because I was just like fucking drinking this drink called the Candyman, and it was like this like really like good drink that had like cotton floss or cotton candy as like the little like thing they'd add on. I was like, these are so good. And I just kept ordering them and I was drinking them and drinking them.
I actually saw interesting enough, I saw this like mentioned in a video that some restaurants, they make most of their money off of like cocktails.
Really?
Yeah.
Because they upcharge or like?
Yeah, because it's just, I guess the margins are better.
Yeah, that's probably true.
It depends on the restaurant, obviously, because like some restaurants are like $50 for a burger, and I'm like, man.
Mm-hmm.
But also, like, they probably have paid their chefs like good up the fucking ass.
Mm-hmm.
My sister used to work at a restaurant, and she told me something really interesting recently. Because she's a chef, and she was a chef at this one place for like years, and she told me that like I've never thought about this. Like, how much do you think like a hotel pays for like its power bill every month, or like how much a restaurant pays for its power bill every month?
True.
And I've been to the restaurant that she was talking about that she was working at, and she told me that their power bill was like $40,000 a month.
Oh my God.
And I remember looking, I was like, yeah, like, I mean, I guess it was a decently sized place, but like $40,000, like that's fucking nuts.
That's insane. Like that is like, you got iPads charged in there, you got iPhones charged in there, like you got all kinds of shit going on there.
Yeah.
That is insane.
There's an energy crisis here right now. Power bill is, it's like insane, doubles.
God. I have no clue what's going on with our power.
Yeah, you guys are fucking rich streamers.
I'll leave that to the Corys, They tell me how much it is.
See, okay, I guess I'm just going to get into my landlord problems.
Go ahead, man. Go ahead. Speak your truth.
My problem with the landlords is that they're all just so fucking weird, and they are literally draining the life out of society, but like they act like what they're doing is moral because we love to normalize this entrepreneurial mindset no matter how fucking, just how much of a fucking worm it is. You know what I mean? It's just so like
worm.
The reason why I was thinking about this today was I've been looking for an apartment to move into, and I somehow ended up on this like landlord article. Like landlords have websites that they read where they can get like tips on how to be like a landlord and how to get the most money out of their like tenants.
Reddit.
The way they talk about their tenants, it's like they're not even talking about people. It's so infuriating to read. And like they never, like everything they talk about is only in their own interest. They never even give a single shit about like, oh, maybe what we're doing here is a massive fucking problem to the tenant who is just trying to fucking live their life and live in a place. They operate on the assumption that every person is just like a fucking leech because you don't own your own property. That means you're just a fucking leech and you're a fucking bottom feeder who's just, fucking giving money to the rich people.
Mm-hmm.
Like I also like and underneath these articles, there were a couple people that were like who didn't own property. They were just complaining about how the fucking renting laws are just so bullshit because they're so in favor of the landlords at times. And all those people said was, well, just buy some property then. What are you complaining about? Like if you have a problem with this, get your own property. Well, it proves my theory that landlords are just inhuman. They are fucking inhuman fucking little trash bags.
No, I feel like landlords are the exact same thing as resellers, where they buy properties, they make it big, and then they resell for a higher value. Exact same thing with like people buying like all these like Nike shoes, where it's like, oh, the on sale on the website for like $110, they sell out, then it's like $220. That's all their whole thing is. It's like they want to upcharge and get a profit, and then if they're a landlord, right, and they have property that's just being rented out, they don't really have to do anything. Like if they have like an actual whole apartment like building, they don't have to do anything because it's just like people are like, here's my money. Thank you for letting me live here. And it's like, oh, well, thank you. I'm going to go to the Bahamas for another fucking 6 like vacation, like I'll see you later. Like it's just one of those things where people are like, oh, I'll buy it while I can and they can't. And then I'll fucking rent it to them for a cost. But, it's better because, they're not buying it, they're not doing with everything else. So, but of course they're still making whatever.
That's the thing is for me is that it just pisses me off because living, we all need a place to live in.
Mm-hmm.
And all these fucking people are like all these like fucking property investors will be like, dude, it's the best shit to get into right now because the fucking property prices are exploding. And who at the cost of are they exploding? They're fucking exploding at the cost of people that are trying to live their life. Mm-hmm. And also, just think about this. Like, sustainability, like fucking growth, like this constant growth. Like, how long is this shit gonna go on for? I'm not some sort of fucking economy expert. I'm not gonna fucking act like I know how the fuck the economy works. Mm-hmm. But what I will say is, I just feel like looking at it from a logical perspective, with the insane amount that like rent is increasing, like, dude, we are already in a fucked situation. It's just gonna keep getting worse. Because these dumb fucks are like, I need property. I can't make money in a legitimate way. I gotta fucking just put into property.
Yeah. And they're like, I'll rent it out. I'll rent it out to some people. How about $8,000 for a fucking like home that I gentrified? How about that? How about I give you an apartment for $8,000? It has a hot shower. Has hot floors. I gentrified this area.
God, it's so... I just hate it. And I hate how they talk down to, like, when you're talking to a landlord, you got to be, like, extra nice to them. And a lot of them, the way they talk to you does not feel the same, like you're on the same level as them. Like, it's just so... Mm-hmm. And this is all because you own... Like, the government says you own this piece of land. That's why you have this moral superiority over me.
Literally. It's like you're like a parent to this random fucking person that's just trying to live. Shit's crazy, man. But Brighton was fun.
Brighton was fun.
Just keep bringing it back to Brighton, like any single time we go on that tangent. But like, yeah, Brighton was pretty fun.
Yeah, Brighton was pretty fun. Brighton was pretty fun. What restaurants did we go to? Did we go to like?
We went to the Ivy.
Oh yeah, the Ivy.
That was like the one that we had, like Jack Manfield, Nikki, and then Tommy was there for like a bit and he left. And that was like probably my favorite night because then we also did karaoke, and then I did the Dave Chappelle bit and I broke the microphone. We're like
that was funny because that was the night that I spilled mac and cheese all over the place.
On Jack Manifold. He spilled he spilled mac and cheese on Jack Manifold. On James, but then didn't you spill a drink on Jack Manifold?
No, this was everybody else because the thing was Jack was sitting next to a huge water jug. And then all these drunk people kept going up to the water jug and trying to pour themselves like a cup of water. And his feet were right underneath where they were pouring water. So people would just keep pouring water on his shoes. And like every like 10 minutes, I would hear Jack Manifold go, "Oh, for fuck's sake."
And he's like, "No, man, it's fine. It's fine, man. It's fine, man."
No, yeah,
like,
it's cool.
I'm sorry, Jack. Like, I didn't mean to spill the water on you. Like, no, man, it's fine. It's fine. It's water. It's whatever, man. And then you'd be like, oh my God, like Jack Manifold just got water spilled on him like 3 times by Weston. It's kind of crazy. That was a really fun night. But yeah, and then at the end, I was very drunk. And I had the microphone, and when Dave Chappelle laughs, whatever you think about him, he laughs, and he will smack the microphone against his knee whenever he laughs during a fucking stand-up special or whatever. So then I thought it was so funny that like I'd tell a joke, and then I would laugh at my own joke, and I'd smack the microphone against my knee, and I did it so hard that like the top of the microphone just like snapped off, and it like rolled on the ground, and it was right when like James had like talked to the person like, yeah, you have like 5 more minutes and then like you're done. And so then we're like, I don't know what to do. I just like screwed the microphone back on, and I just like left it on the fucking like little like thing that like they had the microphone on originally, and then we just left, and we hadn't heard a complaint. We thought like for sure they're like gotta contact James and be like, you broke the microphone, like you need to pay for it. But earlier the microphone had problems, so I think they thought that like it was just like acting buggy that day. So they didn't contact James or anything, and nobody got charged for the microphone. And I definitely broke it, and I'm sorry, but it happened.
I went back to that casino like a couple weeks later, and the same lady who was working there was working that night too. And like there was a moment where I was like, oh my god, what if she like recognizes us? Like this is like some big conspiracy. Like the like everybody at the casino has been wondering like, who broke the mic. They got an investigation and shit.
No, I feel like you could solve that very easily. Like they definitely have a camera in there. They'll definitely see me go, and I'm like smacking the microphone against my knee,
and then
definitely just rolls off, and I go, ooh, and I just like screw back on, and then we just leave. Like I definitely would just be me, but they can't catch me now. I'm in America. You'll never find my whatever.
Did you get ID'd a lot in the UK?
I remember we went to how many bars did we go to? We went to about like 3 bars, probably.
Yeah. One of them, everybody got ID'd to the door because it was a Friday.
Mm-hmm.
So there you would have gone ID'd even if you were like a 90-year-old man.
Yeah. So I got ID'd there. And I remember there's another place that I didn't get ID'd. There's like, oh, you might, I'll give you a fucking whatever. And then the other place, I can't remember. But I feel like maybe I got carded more than once. I'm not sure. I got carded at the casino place for sure, and they're like, I don't know what the fuck to do with this. Like, you're from Kentucky and you're in Brighton, England right now. Like, what do you want me to do? I'm like, I don't know. Let me in.
Yeah.
Let me gamble money. But they're like, I gotta like go through this process. And then it was like a whole thing.
Going back was easy though. When we went back second time, you just be like, yep, I'm in the database. And they were like, oh yeah, okay.
God, but like getting me, Weston, and Kellen through, it was so bad.
See, that's why you gotta bring your passports.
I didn't have my passport that day. I just had my ID, and they're like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, it's just like whenever you give them just the ID, they always get confused, and then it's like a whole like ordeal. And when you fucking pull open your fucking 600-page passport and you just shove it in their face, they're like, well, this has to be real.
True.
So then they don't care really.
But here, if we go to fucking Top Golf in Austin, Texas, and one person is using a passport and everyone else is from their own individual states, apparently we're the bad guys. That's something that genuinely happened where it was me, Weston, Cowan, and then a bunch of our friends that are over 21, right? And we went to Top Golf and we were trying to get drinks, and our friend Jacob used his passport to get a drink, and everyone else used like North Carolina, Kentucky, like California IDs, like all these IDs in Texas. And because there's so many different IDs, they did not serve us just because of that reason alone. And I was like, what? And they're like, yeah. And then at one point we tried to get it when we're in the booth, and our friend Simply had his ID, and he's like 23, I think. Like he's over 21 for sure. He hands him his like actual ID, real ID, not fake at all, genuinely real ID. And they're like, sorry, this is fake. Like, we cannot serve you. And I was like, what the fuck?
That just keeps happening. Like, I've heard so many stories of that happening to people in the US where they just show their real ID, and then like that. I feel like weird. That shows that the government is just that strict about it, where like they can't take any risks. Like, even if they doubt it a little bit, they just got to be like,
no, it's because I remember talking to like one of these people, like,
you can lose your liquor license, right?
Yep. And then you can't be a bar, basically. So, yep, you always have to be very precise about it. And yeah.
And yeah.
And yeah, I just did that because I had this shot on my desk, and not gonna lie, I spilled a little bit of it.
Dude, you're spilling.
I didn't mean to, dude. It was just here, and I was like going like this with my fucking headset, and I lassoed the shot, and a little bit. You lassoed it like desk.
A cowboy. Yeehaw,
cowboy, man. Yee doggy.
Yeah. I used to want to be a cowboy.
I want to be a cowboy, baby.
I used to watch this like cowboy cartoon every morning, and then I was like, oh man, I wish that was me.
What was the cartoon called? Was it just Estonian or was it like also American?
See, that's the problem. Is it's one of those like lost relics where
Lost media?
I can't remember what it was called. I kind of remember its appearance, but I've tried to look it up before, and like it's given me shows and I'm like, this could have been it, but like there's no way because I remember exactly the way it looks, but I haven't been able to find it. I had a similar thing with there used to be this like Mercedes-Benz used to have this website with these games, and there was this like girl that was like on the website. It was like this cartoon girl, and she was like living in like Mercedes HQ, and there were these flash games, bro, went hard. Like
how did you get on the Mercedes-Benz website though?
Dude, I have no idea. I have no fucking clue how the fuck I ended up there. I was just there, and it was this like a fucking blonde-headed girl, and she was like, I'm going to India. Like, we're gonna go to India to see how Mercedes-Benz is used in India. And then it was like a flash game, this like story flash game of how you're in India, and it was like teaching about Indian culture and shit. My like 8-year-old ass, or like, I don't know, I might have been like 10. I was just in there in that shit. I was like, dude, this is fucking sick. Like, I'm learning so much about the world. And then I found it, and turns out they just fucking like nuke that shit. Like, there's only like 2 screenshots of it.
That reminds me of, I want to see if I can find it right now, because there's this like one publishing. God, I don't know why I can't spell right now. Maybe it's the 10 shots of me. There's like this one like history book like publisher, and they had a fucking website where you could play like flash games that like taught you shit, and we're like, oh my god, this is awesome. And then I haven't been able to find it since that happened. Like, I think it was called, had an H in it for sure. Had an H, but I have no clue. Like, U.S. history books. God, I'm sure I can find it. But dude, the fucking flash game's been hard, and I haven't been able to find it, the actual website, since then. It's weird.
You know what I recommend that you download? This was like a crazy thing for me. I found this thing called Flashpoint, and it's this thing where these people have gathered up like so many flash games. Like, they're getting close to like probably almost every single one. Like, that was like on any sort of like like fucking identifiable website. It's like something like fucking 10,000 flash games. And you download this, and then you can just download the flash games one by one and play them. Like, they got all like the classic like Cartoon Network ones. They got all the classic Nickelodeon ones. There's a game that I'd been looking for years called Avatar U, and I thought it was gone from the internet forever. And I downloaded this shit. It was there. It was like the most incredible moment of my life.
Oh my god.
So that's something that you could use to identify. Maybe if you like remember something about the games.
Glencoe and Holt McDougal are like ones I've seen, but like there's one I just know for sure is not that. And I remember having the history book and then going on the website, and it was like, I don't know if like, dude, if somebody in the fucking comments, no! Oh my god, I spilled my shot.
Is it all over you? Do you have a little stain on you?
No, it's all over my mouse pad.
Oh, that's awkward.
I'm just looking at it, and it's all gone. All over the fucking mouse pad. And it's Fireball, so it's going to smell like a fucking candle now. No, it's... Okay, so I'll go back to, like, what the fuck what's it called? What the fucking flash game was. It was a flash game where, like, you would be like, oh, what happened? Maybe it was not even history, but it also had a history book for sure. I know that. But it's like this flash game where like you'd be on like a half pipe, and you'd be like going up, and you'd be like holding on to like the edge of the half pipe with like your body in the air, and they'd be like, when was America founded? 1776, 1774, 1775, 1777. And they'd be like 1776, and they'd be like, good job. And then the guy would like do a trick on a skateboard, and you'd go back down. But like I've never been able to find that flash game since then. It's very interesting.
I bet if you use Flashpoint, you'll be able to find it.
What's also very interesting is how do I clean a mouse pad with a full
You wash
shot?
it.
I know, but dude, you know what's so aggravating is like I literally washed this keyboard. Like I literally like full on washed this keyboard like a month ago. And now I'm probably going to rewash it because it's going to be so sticky from the fucking.
Ooh.
I know. There goes my tissues. It's no bueno, man. I don't like this.
That's no good.
It's all because I fucking lassoed it.
I had an old keyboard that once went down that path.
It did not get on the keyboard. That's a good thing. Is I was smart enough to separate the keyboard from the shot glass so much that like I knew it was never going to get on it.
Yeah.
So that's fine. But still kind of obnoxious, you know?
But at least you had some tissues ready to go.
No, it's because I have terrible allergies. So shout out to my terrible allergies for, you know, making me get 5 tissue boxes in Austin, Texas. And you know what? Honestly, it just kind of smells like cinnamon now.
Austin, Texas.
Austin.
Well, I mean, maybe that can be like perfume for your desk. You'll just enjoy it more. Enjoy your presence.
Dude, fucking speaking of perfume, dude, I got this like seems like it's like $150, but I got this Bleu de Chanel stick deodorant for myself for my birthday. It smells so good.
Oh my God, you're wearing Chanel.
I am. Dude, I smell so nice. Well, at least think I smell nice. I don't know. Like, and then I put it under my pits and I smell nice and I don't smell like a fucking like goblin that's been in a cave for 1,000 years, you know?
You should start wearing perfume.
I've debated that because when I got the Chanel thing, right, it was like this super fancy box that had like these 2 samples of this one like sports fragrance and this one like Coco Chanel fragrance, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like I smelled the sport one. I was like, that's actually pretty good too. And I smelled this one, and I saw on the website they have a bar of soap of this, and I got it again for my birthday. And so,
you're obsessed with Chanel now.
I got 2 Chanel things, man, and they're the cheapest ones on the site. So don't think I have a lot of money. I got them as a birthday gift to myself. You know, a little treat for my smells because you know sometimes they can be a little smelly, and you know, with Bleu de Chanel, it gets rid of the odor and it makes you smell like a king.
There's a TikToker that does that. They go on like Chanel and like Gucci and like Louis Vuitton websites and just buy the most like inexpensive thing. And it's very interesting because people in the comments are like, this is so fucking stupid. And then the person's like, poor people want to buy Gucci too.
True, dude. True. I mean, I'm poor and I look at all these other things and it's like $110, $115. I'm like, ooh, about that. But no, I'm telling you right now, this fucking stuff that I got, pretty good.
But at that point, it's interesting because people just love status symbols. If like tomorrow fucking Hellman's mayonnaise became like a status of wealth and power, people would be paying so much for fucking Hellman's mayonnaise. Just because it's a status symbol. Do they even like mayonnaise? No, they don't like mayonnaise, but they want to feel that way.
Yeah, that way.
I felt that way. Not gonna lie, I did feel the superiority when I got my Yeezys, replica Yeezys. Which, by the way, I find so funny how pissed off people get where they're like, you're not even wearing the real ones. You're a pussy. You're not even wearing the real ones. At that point, you are like such a cog in the capitalist machine. I don't even know what to do with you. I give my fucking encouragement and blessing to every single person who likes something that is from like Louis Vuitton or some sort of one of these like luxury brands, and just go get some replicas. Go on Reddit. You can learn about it very easily on Reddit. There's like people will fucking list every single store for replicas where you can get the same hoodie of the same quality of the same, everything is the same 1-to-1 and it'll be like $40 as opposed to like fucking 200, 400.
No, literally, it's insane. To like, everyone's like, but like, dude, like if I catch you wearing replicas, like you're donezo. Like, who cares? You realize like half these fakes are made in the exact same factory and they're sold for a cheaper price because, you know, I'm not a fucking ridiculous person to spend $500 on a shoe when I can just spend $120. Like, hold on. Come on.
It's so stupid.
Come on.
It is really stupid. Like, I can't. If you're one of those fucking dick riders who's just like, oh, you don't have the real one? Oh, you have reps? Oh, you must be a pussy. Like, shut up. Just do everyone a favor and just fuck off. Mm-hmm. Literally.
This is so lame.
Have you seen that TikTok where that guy is like, oh, mumble rap nowadays? He's just like, and I took a Xanax.
Dude, I have that in my liked videos on TikTok because I just think it's so like terrible. I'm like, this guy is so awful. Like, I have to just like this and show it on stream. Like, it is just bad. It's actually bad.
He was all over my For You page because people would duet him and make fun of him. And he is just so annoying because he's somebody that has just fallen behind the times. And what he doesn't realize is he thinks that by making that joke, he was like original and like bringing new ideas to the table. The main reason why people are not finding him funny is because that is literally the most overused and like just like a annoying joke at this point.
No, literally, it's like, dude, come on. Like, we've talked about this for years now. Years it's been. And you're still going on about mumble rap Zans.
I feel like as a comedian, because this guy is like self-titled comedian, he's very big on the comedian tag. He should realize, as a comedian, you should kind of try to make the people who are going to see this laugh. You know, the people in front of you personally. Like if you're doing stand-up, you know, you kind of like every comedian is trying to like kind of tap into their demographic and like, you know, be like, oh, what is my demographic like? So when you're posting your fucking shit jokes on TikTok, you should realize that most of these people, this guy's like 30 years old. You should realize that most of these people are going to be half your age and they literally will hate this joke. So maybe go to Facebook. Oh, dude, go to one of those Facebook Eminem is the GOAT groups and you will literally kill it. You will kill it. They will be like,
no, literally. Eminem Facebook
like, oh my God, you just made a banger.
Mm-hmm. They're like, all these like little Uzis and little babies, they don't know anything like Eminem does. Like he goes, so you know, he goes fast and he knows lyrics.
Dude, the song that he made pisses me off so much. He's like, oh, mumble rap sounds the same. Like I can just make a song right now. And he's like, I took a Xanax. And I took some Molly. And then I took another Xanax.
He's like, and he goes, sick buzz, bro. And I'm like, dude, shut up. Like, shut your millennial ass up before I take an amiibo off your shelf. Like,
that is literally the most annoying part of the whole video.
I'll fucking open up a Funko Pop. I'll open up one of your Funko Pops if you fucking continue this. Did you see his response to
yes,
all of it, though?
I did. It was insane.
He's like, if you're on TikTok, you're a fucking loser. You're a pedophile or you're fucking... like, he's like, all these like crazy things. And he's like, I don't even have TikTok on my phone, so go nuts in the comments. I'll never see it.
Yeah, it's funny how he said that he'll never see it, but then he attached a screenshot of literally every hate comment that he received.
Every single. He's like, all these people on TikTok can't take a fucking joke. It's like, dude, calm down. And they understand it's a joke, but it's just such a overused and bad one.
It's so annoying. First person
to do that.
It's so annoying, and I'm worried that one day I'm going to become that man.
I want to see you on TikTok going, another Xanax. And I'm like, oh, Lord Axel.
No,
get him off this website.
But here's the thing: is like we probably are that fucking old fart to like a bunch of like Minecraft fans who like are like these fuckers are so annoying. Like, stop talking about Tommy Innit and Jack Manifold. This is fucking
that's the thing,
lame.
Is like that's just because like we joke around. We don't like all the people that we joke around in the Minecraft community for the most part. We like they're not doing anything necessarily wrong. We just like tease and like joke around, but then they're like, "What the fuck, man? Like you're with your old age, you're still talking about fucking Dominic and Jack Melville.
You fell off. Your fucking career is dead."
I know. It's like, dude, I'm like, calm down. Like we get it. Like I think they're all good dudes. You know, there's a couple of rotten eggs every once in a while, but you know, for the most part, I think they're all pretty cool.
Yeah, I they're cool. I like. usually the people that we mention are cool. We don't I don't really ever go on my stream and I keep mentioning people that I don't like. I usually
genuinely, if I don't like them, I'm probably not mentioning them on stream.
Exactly.
Like I wouldn't want to even like say their name if I genuinely don't like them. But
now people are like, oh, he hasn't mentioned Rambo in the last month. Does he not like Rambo?
I mentioned Rambo because I did a fucking face reveal. I'm like, Rambo's, shout out to Rambo.
Oh my god,
shout out, he's doing his thing. I just did a face reveal because I've been talking about my stream and I was like, it'd be funny. And I actually had like a costume that kind of looked like it would be like a Minecrafter face reveal. Shout out to Rambo though.
You're obsessed with that guy.
I'm not obsessed. If anyone's obsessed with Rambo, it's Jake3E on Twitch. Can we talk about that?
Is he really? Yeah, he is. True. A lot of fan
actually not him, Mopperbot. This other guy, Mopperbot. Different person. He's
friend of the show.
Friend of the show. We need to get Mopperbot on.
We do need to get Mopperbot on.
Because like nobody's had Mopperbot because people always go like, oh, Jake's Mopperbot, but like people don't really know.
People don't know it goes deeper than that. Like it
goes way deeper than that.
Sometimes you as the viewer need to realize you're just not in this conversation and like you don't know the things that are going on behind the scenes. So
you don't know that Mopperbot, it may be a fucking collaboration. It may be a business. It may be an enterprise. You don't know.
Do you know that like nobody knows who the founder of Bitcoin is?
I thought it was it's like this one guy. I thought they already knew.
No, that's like a made up name they made for this person because like they don't know who he is. It's like an anonymous thing. The reason why I was thinking that was because like that's kind of like Mopperbot.
True, they don't know Mopperbot. They don't know who Mopperbot is.
Like recently, there was a bunch of articles about like how Elon Musk fucking speculates who the founder of Bitcoin is. That's because there's like this Japanese name of like, oh, this guy is a holder of Bitcoin. That name isn't real. That's not a real person. That's just the name that they've put in the place for that, who that actually is. And then there was this one guy on my TikTok that was like, ooh, you guys are going to be in big trouble when you find out who the founder of Bitcoin is. Like everything's going to come crashing down. Like who is it? Like
who is it going to be? It's like Logan Paul.
If anything, Logan Paul being the founder is going to like make it fucking quadruple. Everyone's going to be like, yes, that's fucking crazy. All these crypto bros, they fucking love Logan Paul.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't think it's going to be like some big evil person. Like, I don't know. Like Jeffrey Epstein to create a Bitcoin. I don't think that's going to happen.
That would be crazy.
No, that would be crazy. That'd be like, dude, that shit goes from like 40K to fucking 4K real fast. Like,
no, yeah, that would be
just like boom,
insane. I don't even know how. Like, I feel like the world would go insane if like Jeffrey Epstein was exposed as the founder of Bitcoin. Jesus insane. Christ! But oh my god,
maybe
like,
Mopperbot.
You know, speaking of Logan Paul. Have you seen how like him and KSI released that drink?
I'm actually really happy about that.
You're happy about that?
I'm happy that like they had this beef and now they're like business partners and they're like they're doing their own little like cute thing. We're like, hey, we made this drink together and the kids are like, I'm in LA with Logan. It's awesome. Like I'm happy for them.
I thought it was fucking lame and boring, and I'm like,
what the fuck, dude?
Yeah,
I want to try it. I'm just I just like the Sidemen. I think the Sidemen are, the goats of the industry, and I think because how long I've been watching them, I always will support them unless it's something that I don't want to support.
I've been watching KSI for so long, but I just feel like at a certain point, I just became like, I don't know, man. He became too rich. I'm like a little bit like in a way like when I think back to like who he used to be, and I'm like, yeah, I'm happy for him. I'm proud of him, but like, it just feels like every move that he does, I just feel like we'll just feel as if it's this huge like ad now because he's just in his like entrepreneurial era where it's like, oh my god, here's my drink with Logan. Like the way they announced it, like it was just also like in general, like what I'm really over is these fucking celebrity beefs or like these like YouTuber influencer boxing matches. Because at the end of the day, what they really are is they found like an infinite money glitch.
No, yeah, it's like, oh, YouTubers hate each other. I'll watch that YouTuber. I know about that other YouTuber. Like, I'm going to watch them. And I'm going to pay $30.
What they're doing is they're just milking it dry until there's just nothing left. And it's miserable.
But I will say, they did have a banger live stream because they said like, "Oh, Logan Paul and KSI are going to call and talk about are they going to rematch? Are they going to rematch?" And they got 500,000 people on their Instagram live just for them to be like, "Yo, we're in the same room and we have an energy drink." Like, I'm not gonna lie, that's kind of crazy.
Would I do the same thing in their position? Yes, I would.
Of course,
I'm not even denying it. But as a viewer, I am left disappointed and bored. And I'm just like bored. Like at this point, what the fuck does Logan Paul have to talk about at this point? He just sits on his podcast like talking about NFTs and shit. Cryptocurrency.
Did you see what happened to him recently?
What happened?
He bought what he thought was, I think he thought
I saw that
11
on Twitter.
11 first edition Pokemon booster boxes for $3.5 million. And he thought that they were sealed in like this box for like a baseball card company, and they haven't been open since they like got shipped to like this place. Like this guy was there and he confirmed like, this was, I don't think it's been tampered with. I don't think anything happened. And they opened up the box that had like 5 or like, I think it had 6 booster boxes in. They open it up and he like sees the things and is like, why don't some of the boxes say first edition? Why don't some of the boxes like look like this? They're looking different. And he opens them up and they're all G.I. Joe cards. And he spent $3.5 million on them and he got scammed. It was insane.
G.I. Joe cards are just not worth much.
It's like 2 cents for like a fucking G.I. Joe card.
Jesus.
And he spent $3.5 million and he got scammed.
That's like, man. It's kind of like a crazy thing that he let that happen. I'm not gonna lie. Like I feel like if I was spending 3.5 mil, I would really make sure that the source is trustworthy.
No, yeah, he did. He got all these people who were like, yeah, I don't think it's been tampered with. Like if it was tampered with, there like be like a crease in the box. Like they like point out all these specific things, and then somehow slip right past him, and he wasted $3.5 million on a box that had G.I. Joe cards.
Oh no! Now he only has like 10 million
15
left.
Million.
Yeah,
he only has 15 million in cryptos and 25 million in real dollars. Oh no! So sad. But yeah,
he is like Logan Paul is one of those people where like I wonder like what is he going to be talking about in like 20 years?
I honestly could see him probably being like Joe Rogan, where he just keeps having people on the podcast. Yeah. Just becomes a podcast guy. Because I mean, like his content, especially for his age, I feel like it kind of like expired after a bit, and like he can't really do that anymore for his audience. And I feel like he's cultivated a more like older audience than he did when he was like in 2017, 2018. Mm-hmm. So now I think he's just gonna like pander to them and like have on people on his podcast, kind of like how Joe Rogan does, where like he gets on a bunch of random people that are like popular in current times. But I don't know. Might do TV. He might do whatever.
I mean, there was a time where I found him entertaining. The diss tracks are still like classics.
And you're a dick. I mean, like, dude, that diss track against Jake Paul is legendary. GOAT status.
It is. It's just, I don't know. Now, it's just very, his life is like, in a way, I understand the appeal for his podcast from my perspective. I don't understand it from the perspective of the people that usually do actually just watch it. I understand it from my perspective because I feel like I could watch an episode of his podcast just because like Logan Paul is kind of like this like huge like performance for me, where he is this guy who is insanely like out of touch in like a whole way where, you know, it's hard to describe it because his life is just so insanely different to ours.
Yeah.
And he also he kind of gives off those like kind of like dumb frat bro vibes. So in every way it is fascinating to people watch those people, you know?
Yeah. But I also think like with Logan Paul, for me, like I hadn't heard about Logan Paul, and then the Japan things happened, and I was like, okay, fuck this guy. And then he kind of redeemed himself and he was doing some smart stuff. I'm like, okay, I'm like actually liking Logan Paul now. And now he's just like kind of in this area for me where I'm like, I don't think about him. You know what I mean? Like Logan Paul really doesn't come to my mind until like the KSI thing and the Pokemon thing. You know, like I don't think he's like necessarily like that dumb because I've listened to the podcast sometimes. I'm like, okay, he's actually making like good points, but like on his podcast, he has like these two other people on it, and sometimes they're like the most like obnoxious co-host to deal with. Or like, and you're like just throwing like these random tidbits and like get like the guest sidetracked, and like this doesn't do anything productive. But then Logan, I think like if he did it by himself and like had people on one-on-one discussions, I think it's like pretty interesting because like he's also just like this veteran in like YouTube, and always hearing about like that with other people, I feel like is interesting because it's not like how like we've heard it. We're like it's like life or death. Like you need to do this, you need to upload, blah blah blah. It's like them just talking about like this is how I got YouTube to work or whatever, and it's like that was interesting because I listened to Logan Paul KSI podcast, the first one they did. I was like, oh, this is like kind of interesting because like they've been around for a while, but they're like two different sides of YouTube in a way. Mm-hmm. But I don't really like care anymore. I was like, Logan, do your thing.
Yeah, I don't think he's necessarily dumb, but he is. I guess his like what makes him appear as dumb is the fact that he's just out of touch.
And he's a Paul brother, yeah.
Yeah, he's a Paul brother. Like his whole life, like it's very interesting to think about. Just like having like I think about this in every perspective. Like even on my own life, like there are things that I didn't have in my life, but there's also things that I did have in my life, and because of that, I take for granted because I've just never not had this, and I feel like the same is for him. But he was like, for him, it would be like I guess on a more grand scale because he always like grew up in a nice neighborhood, grew up with a family that was like pretty okay, I guess. Until they weren't.
Yeah.
So I don't know. And then he, skyrocketed. And I can imagine him being like a very popular guy all throughout school, then becoming popular on Vine, then just becoming famous. Like it kind of feels like he's just kind of been in the same spot his entire life. It's just the scale of it has kind of changed.
Yeah. So like it wasn't one of those people where it's like, I was kind of a nerd in high school. Now I'm like a big celebrity across the globe. Like it kind of feels like, I was like, it's a little bit popular in high school, and then I was popular on Vine, and I'm really popular in the world.
I feel like that's like a rare case though, like somebody that's popular in high school becoming actually popular in real life. Most of the people I feel like that are popular in high school, they dwindle out and they become kind of sad.
Yeah, because a lot of these people that are like popular in high school, they're either like hot. I mean, most of the time they are just kind of hot, or like they're athletic or whatever, and that's the only thing to them. And they're like one dimension people, where like they don't really have like a personality. So then when it comes to like making content, they're like super lame, and like that's why like all these people like go on TikTok and like do thirst traps or like try to like act like they're cool on TikTok, whatever. And you can just obviously see like this is a person that does not have a personality and like only got by in high school because they're like hot or like whatever. Mm-hmm. It's just really funny to me because like none of those people usually are like as big as like people in high school are like, I wasn't as popular, or like I was bullied. And all these people have like 20 million subscribers, and then the popular people are like, I don't know why I'm not getting traction on my TikToks, when it's like all you do is dances. Come on.
It's interesting when people make up like lie about being bullied.
Yeah. It is a really interesting case because like you can get away with it.
You can until somebody that you went to school with pops up.
Mm-hmm. And then, or it's a vice versa where that person can be like, they weren't bullied. And then like people be like, well, you weren't bullied. And it's like, well, hold on a second. I was. Mm-hmm. And then it's like a flip side. But for the most part, it is kind of crazy how some people are like, I wasn't bullied. And they'd be like, yeah, this person was a fucking asshole nerd in high school or college or whatever.
Yeah. That's the thing is like I've always just been like kind of afraid to say that I got bullied because I just think a lot of people around me had it worse. So it feels weird to say that you got bullied because I feel like in the school that I went to, everybody got bullied to an extent, unless you were like a part of the big bully group.
Yeah, I wouldn't even say like I got bullied, but there's some times where like I'd be like, hey, what's up, man? And they'd be like, oh, look at you, or like they'd do something.
Yeah.
Like, I always just laughed it off. Like, I didn't care. Like, I was like, whatever. But then I look back and I'm like, I guess they tried to. But I was just like, whatever. Like, it's not like, I'm not like getting shoved into lockers and like fucking physically harassed or verbally harassed. There's more so like, oh, look at blah blah blah, look at Hooverr, man. Like, isn't that kind of funny? I'm like, haha, yeah, whatever.
Isn't that kind of
and
funny?
Then I just like laughed it off.
Yeah, I never really like I have seen people get physically bullied. That never really happened to me. It would literally just be like that's the reason I feel like I just got the same as like everybody else did, where they like every person in school, people immediately tried to look at you and be like, okay, what's different about you? And then they immediately go for the little aspects of you and they try to kind of pick you apart one by one. And I guess at the end of the day, those who get bullied more are the ones that have just more to them that stands out, which is kind of a shame.
It is.
Including YouTubers.
Shame. Like Matt Pat. I don't know.
Yeah, Matt Pat. No, I was just saying, like, if people found out you made videos in school, then it would be like, oh, the end of the world. People would be like, no way.
Yeah. I did videos in school, and then they found out I hit 100K, and they're like, yo, congrats. But, like, at the same time, it wasn't necessarily, like, a thing where I told people. They just kind of found out because of the PewDiePie thing, when I got, like, included in the video. They're like, yo, you're in PewDiePie? You have a channel? I'm like, yeah. And then people were like, yo, congrats on 100K. And I was very fortunate in that aspect, but it is kind of crazy how, like, other people, like, if they had, like, a small channel, it was like, yo, look at this fucking nerd, you know? Like, they're uploading Fortnite videos and getting no views. Yeah. Like, isn't that funny?
But yeah. As soon as, like, it started to become, like, a cool thing, it was fine. You know, you get your subs, you're getting noticed. It's, like, a whole thing.
Yeah, like, oh, I'm making money. And they're like, no way you're making money off of it. As soon as they hear that, then they're like, oh, I'm all in, man. You know, sorry.
I'm all in. I was always supportive of what you're doing here, but it's like, that's not the case. That's not true. I was never I don't know. It's just weird. People like that are weird. But also, like, in a way, like, I like, maybe I have to, like, own up to my own hypocrisy in a way, because I feel like I was just the same fucking way in school. Like, I was just like, oh, that person's kind of different. That's kind of weird. That's kind of lame. Like,
I was definitely the same to a certain extent. I wouldn't say like it was the same of like the actual like bullies that bully other people.
No, yeah, I never really got that far.
I never was that far. I always just teased because I got teased. You know what I mean? Like, people like, or actually cut that out because I just said my name. I don't know why I said the name.
Yeah.
Make sure to mark that down at 124. That I said my actual last name for some reason and cover my mouth.
I'll bleep it out.
Okay. They're like, what are you wearing? And I'm like, yeah, whatever, man. And I'm like, what are you wearing? I'm like, ah. But then like actual people be like, you're a fucking nerd. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, calm down. Like, I get like he's a nerd, but you can like tease him. You don't have to like just fully bully him and call him like a fucking loser and belittle him. You know? It was just kind of crazy how the other people were doing it, because I feel like teasing is like kind of fun and lighthearted, but like when you're like actually bullying somebody, it's like you're ruining their life to an extent.
It is. It's just like a concentrated effort where I think also like, I think a part of where teasing would end is you would say something dumb to another kid and then you could tell that like they kind of felt like shit about it. So then you'd be like, oh yeah, I guess I'm going to back off. But like bullies, holy shit, man. Like they kind of like fed off of that shit.
They did not care.
If you felt like shit, they fucking loved it. Which is, yeah, that's fucking rough. I mean, I don't even know where like half of these people are nowadays.
You know what's funny, right? This is something that like this is something in my head that like I really didn't do like fully.
Yeah.
But, like this is like kind of almost like a confession to an extent of like what I like happened in like 6th grade. Keep in mind 6th or 5th grade. Like I was like a little kid.
Yeah.
And it's so weird, right? Like at my school, every single day we'd be in the fucking what's it called? The cafeteria before like school started. And we'd all have like tables based on like your grades or whatever. And there was this kid in the grade above us. And I don't know, let's just say like his name is like Neil or like Ned. Every single day, or like not every single day, but like every once in a while when Ned came in, we'd go, "Happy birthday, Ned," and he'd be like, "Happy birthday," and he'd be like stop, and he'd really visibly look at us and be like, "What the fuck are you doing? Like, stop!" Like, I don't know what the fuck you're doing. I think at one point he even said stop, and he like screamed at us, like, "Ha!" He said stop, and then at one point he like transferred schools, and I at some point I like think to myself like, was it because we said happy birthday to him every single day in the cafeteria that made him move schools? And we're like, I don't think so, but like it is one of those things where I'm like, huh. I never really thought about it like that when I was like in 5th grade. But then I grew up, I'm like, huh. You know, maybe that one happy birthday sent him over the edge and he transferred.
That is interesting to think about because I feel like as a kid you can be like so much more delicate too. Now you think about it, it's like that's kind of funny. Like
I don't know. It's actually that's exactly what we thought. Like we just thought it was funny that like we said it was his birthday every single day, and then certain days he'd like scream at us and be like, "That's not funny." Like he'd be like, "I like stop saying that." And we'd be like, "Ah, whatever, man." And we thought it was like kind of like a banter thing. We're like, "Oh, we're all in on the joke." But then he just transferred schools one day, and I like look back. I'm like, "Did we do that? Was it because we said happy birthday to him every day, and he just had enough?" Like I don't know.
That's interesting to think about. And he's probably on a podcast right now saying, I know. These fucking asshole kids used to just say happy birthday to me all the time.
Listen, if you know who I am, and I said happy birthday to you in the cafeteria when you were like in 8th grade or 7th grade, just know I'm sorry that made you transfer. But I don't think it did. And honestly, looking back, if you did transfer because of that, you're a pussy. Kidding.
Might have been. It's interesting. Transferring schools. Did you ever transfer schools?
No.
I transferred schools like fucking 6 or 7 times in my life. I transferred like a lot in my life at a certain point because I either was like moving or at a certain point I was just like, I think there was a time when I got older where I just like missed like a ton of school, and then I was just like, I don't really want to go back there. I want to go to a new school, and then I would just get enrolled into a new one. Which means I have a lot of experience with, first of all, like whenever I would transfer schools, I wouldn't fucking tell anybody why I was leaving. Like I was just kind of like have like one time, like one of my old best friends, I think despises me to this day. My best friend from like 5th grade despises me because I just moved and I never talked to him again. I never told him why I moved. I just moved.
Damn,
and I was like, I'm out. Yeah, because I deleted my Facebook. I deleted all my social media. I was like, I made this like off the grid decision when I was in actually I don't know if it was 5th grade. It might have been like close to like 6th or 7th or 8th, something like that. And I was just like, I don't want to deal with any of this shit.
Damn.
And I lost touch with him, but I feel like we would have lost touch either way. The reality of that is that as soon as I moved, I just started being around very different people, and I changed, and I just feel like it wouldn't have really stayed. But first days in school are really interesting. They're like, because I feel like every time I've had a first day at a new school, you always get some kid that is like, it's like, I'm going to be friends with this kid. And then you're always friends with this guy for the first like 2 weeks. And then you'll find another group and you never talk to that person again.
No. Yeah. I only had, you know, what's funny is from kindergarten to 8th grade, I was in the same group of people and the same class of people of 30 kids. And I knew these 30 kids in my class from kindergarten to 8th grade. And then we graduated together. It was pretty crazy. It was like a family. And then I graduated and I went to high school. And when I went to high school, I was at the high school where like 2 other kids from my class went to, and I didn't really know them that well. So I was like basically like fresh fucking fish out of the water. You know, like I didn't know anybody. And when I was at high school, I was talking to this kid and I talked to him literally exactly as you said for like a week. And then another kid that I kind of knew from like other friends, like, yo, man, like you're pretty funny. You want to sit at my lunch table? I'm like, hell yeah. And I started sitting with him and started talking with his friend group. And that was my friend group from like freshman year to sophomore year or junior year. And I never talked to that one kid that I spoke to first week, like ever again, really. And like, it was pretty crazy. It just kind of happened like that. Because then also so he was really smart. And he was like way smarter than me. So like I was never in any classes with him. And like the people I was hanging out with at my lunch table from like
they were dumbasses.
Year to like junior year. They weren't dumbasses, all right, man. They weren't as smart though, and they're like we kind of had like the same groups, you know, and we had the same lunch or whatever.
Yeah.
And then yeah, I just never really hung out with that other kid because he was too smart. And yeah,
In
crazy how
Estonia,
that happens.
it was the same way. Like you get assigned a grade, and then you kind of like do most things with those people from that grade. Like some kids will pick a subject that is like obviously different, and then you won't be in a class with that kid for like, you know, maybe some kids will do German and then you'll do Russian or like some shit like that. But you'll be with the same group of people. And it does create this interesting feeling of family where if you see the girls from your grade, you're like, oh, that's the girls from my grade. You feel like you kind of feel like this connection to them, like they would probably look out for you in a way. Like even if they don't like you, they still like you're one of theirs, you know? So it's always like it's interesting.
One thing that was also interesting, thinking back at like my kindergarten to 8th grade, like 30 kid class that we knew basically from like we were 6 years old to like fucking 15, was one of our teachers, because we didn't have a lot of teachers. For another thing that like I should say about my school was it was a Catholic private school, and our teachers were like basically we got one teacher basically for each grade until like I think 6th grade, and then 6th grade you got like 3 other teachers, but we didn't have that many teachers. You know, like if we from like kindergarten to 4th grade, our teachers taught us everything. Like that one teacher, and we did not switch classes. And then in 6th grade, like we had like different like math groups or whatever, blah blah blah. But one of our like teachers, one of our main teachers, told us right during like it was like this whole thing because like we used to have like fucking. There used to be like drama in our class, and then we'd have like girl meetings and boy meetings, like with like our teachers, and like talk about our like problems or whatever. And one of them, that was like a full group like meeting. One of our teachers was like, "I don't want you all dating anyone in this class. We're like a family. Like if you're dating anyone in this like class is like a family. Like you shouldn't be dating anyone in this class." And we're like, okay, like this is so weird. And it was just like such a weird thing to like say like a bunch of like middle schoolers, you know what I mean? Like, hey, don't date anyone, like we're like a family, because like that's you projecting your emotions onto us.
Yeah.
Like there was a bunch of couples already in that class that had already happened in a sense. And like for you to be like, we're like a family, like I don't know, it's just, man, it just makes it weird. It makes it feel like it's like some kind of like incest when it's not.
That's very like a very weird thing to say from a teacher.
He's a very insane teacher, I'm not gonna lie. So I mean that definitely speaks for like what he.
What else has he done that's insane?
Well, he was our science teacher. I don't know. Maybe somehow I feel like you'll see this. And you know what? It's just one of those things where like I respect it to a certain extent, but you know, there's some things that are out of pocket. Where he was our science teacher, and the way he took science fair for our class from 6th to 8th grade was like insane levels. Like we had people from our class like moving on to nationals for science fair like almost every year, or like moving on to every other level in science fair like every year. And you'll take it so serious, and you have to have a serious project, and it would be like this big portion of your grade or whatever. And like it was just like this whole stressful process, and I remember like crying, stressing over it. I'm like, dude, I don't know what to do. Like I don't have a project. Because there are kids in our class, like genuinely, I'm promising you right now, it sounds like I'm joking. Genuinely, there are people doing science projects on like cancer and like how to like what like cancer cells are acting like, and like all this shit. And meanwhile, I'm over here. I'm not even joking. There are kids in my class doing like cancer research, and I was in my class getting a fucking like plastic styrofoam airplane and shooting it with different weights on it to see how far it would go if I like added more weight on like the tail. Like just because I just wanted to like get it over with and like get a like decent grade. Because our science fair judges were like moms from our school or like random people, and like if you got a mom, that's like an easy A. Like they're like, oh, you did such a good job, and they'd give you an A and they'd write down the paper or whatever. And it'd be like, okay, that's fine. But like I remember just stressing nights before it happening, and like having to type up a thesis and like a hypothesis and all this shit. It was so stressful for no reason. And that was pretty crazy. But
that's like unreal.
Yeah. There's some things he did right for sure, but they're just it was just like he was kind of insane, you know.
Yeah,
kind of insane. Because then also another thing that happened was I remember me and my friends, Deke and Bucky, which sounds like the most made up like Kentucky names ever. And I did make up Jacob's name to be Bucky. This guy's name was Jacob, and I call him Bucky, and he still goes by Bucky to this day. But we all got like bad grades on the test, and he pulled us in the hallway. He like shouted at us. It was like, "You can't do this! Like, this is unacceptable! Like, you realize like all these people in there are trying and they're trying their hardest to like get good grades on their tests, and you're over here, you don't care at all, do you? You don't care at all about your tests." I was like, Jesus Christ, dude! Like, I just didn't study that well. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, it's 8th grade. It's not gonna fucking affect my college grades. Like, I don't care. Because that's exactly what I thought of. Like, I didn't care in 8th grade because high school is basically like, oh, I'm going to get into high school. Like, whatever. Like, it's not going to matter. I don't care about these grades. So then I just stopped caring as much. And then you're like, you got to care about these grades, man. Because, like, they wanted to get, like, a good accumulative grade for the school. So then they could get, like, this award because they got this award before. And, like, they're like, we want, like you bring the whole class down. And I was like, this whole thing, I was like, Jesus fucking Christ, dude. Like, I'm going into high school. Like, I don't care.
It's kind of like Estonia. Like, Estonia ranks really high in a lot of, like, education-related things. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of that is just because, like, a lot of the students get just overworked to shit. Like,
no, our class was definitely overworked in science. No, their shit.
It is kind of crazy. And another thing is just like the teachers don't communicate with each other at all because, you know, sometimes you'll have kids that are like in like 100 other classes, but this creates this problem where like every teacher's kind of giving homework as like they're the only fucking person that's giving homework.
Yes, dude. No, literally. And then there'd be like 5 other teachers giving homework, and it's like, we also have this class. She's like, I don't care. Get the work done. It's like, oh, okay. You're one of those people.
The one thing that I did like about Estonia was teachers would usually ask, like, oh, do you guys have like a test or like an exam on this day? Because if you do, then we'll just do it like at another point. But then like homework, it was like a free-for-all battle royale, man. It was crazy. They didn't give a fuck. Mm-hmm. They didn't give a shit. Like, they just were stacking that shit. And then you would go to them and be like, yo, well, the thing is, I just didn't do homework a lot of time. I'm not going to fucking lie to you. I just realized, I think the worst problem with me as a kid was when I realized I could get away with something, I would just fucking do it. I don't give a fuck.
Same. Like, I'm the exact same.
I realized, like, if you don't do your homework, like, first of all, there were homeworks that I knew that the teacher was going to check every single one of. Mm-hmm. So those I would do, or I would do them like right before class. But most of the homeworks, there was a 95% chance that they were not going to check it. And if they did check it, it would seem as if this is your first time missing homework in like, I don't know, like fucking months. And they'll be like, okay, just don't do it again. The bigger problem was when sometimes they would take your notebooks, like once a semester, a teacher would take your notebook to see what you've like written down and like all the homework you've done. And then I would have nothing.
I would have doodles. I would have like fucking doodles of like these little creatures like running around my fucking notebook.
Yeah, same.
And then it'd be like, so you were doing during my class? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, I'm sorry. Like, there's like a fucking huge penis on my fucking math notebook. Like,
yeah.
Okay, whatever.
But then what I realized about that is you can just tell them you forgot it. And then if you kept like pushing it on a long time because the teachers have so many students, they eventually just gave up. And like I literally there's maybe one time where I got called out for literally not writing down anything. And there was like a big thing. Like the teacher was like, you have done fucking nothing. Like how the fuck? God. But I was like, the thing is like I was passing all the tests, like my like because it used to be like when I first started going to school in Estonia, it was like quarters. You get grades for every quarter, and then after every quarter there would be like a week-long break. But then as I got older, it turned into trimesters, and after every trimester you would get a grade. And I was always getting those grades. Like, it doesn't matter if I was doing the homework. I would always, at the end of the fucking quarter of the trimester, I would have a grade on my paper. Hey. We love to drink with Jack.
No, but yeah. I was going to say, my biggest flaw was learning that if I actually study in class when I'm supposed to, and I just don't do the homework and I do well on a test, I will pass a course.
Yep.
Like, I'm not going to get good grades, but I'll pass. And like, that was my biggest thing, was I'm going to pass every single class I take. And I never failed a single class. I was very close to failing classes. I'm not going to lie. There were some buzzer beater moments where like I got a really good grade on a test, or like I actually turned in my homework for once. But for the most part, like I passed every single class and never did summer school. And I just realized, if I do good on the test and I turn like half of my homework, I'm going to be fine. And because of that, I'm now a high school graduate. So give like, and then my dad gave me very stupid, but like good advice. He said, don't give 100%, give like 60%. And I'm sure you'll do good. And he was right. I like gave it like half-assed. And my half-ass was pretty good because I knew the stuff, but I just didn't care.
That was literally me. I was a smart like I was like top of the class until like 6th grade. Like
same.
I found everything like very easy to learn, but then I realized like the more it went on, like I was still able to like learn it, but it was just starting to like stress me out because I think like a lot of shit was happening in my life as well. And then I just kind of gave up because I was like, I don't care. I don't really want to be one of these kids anyway. I don't really.
Yeah, I want to be a nerd. I want to party. I want to get bitches.
I think I made that decision like very early on. I think I was like 11 or 12 where I was just like, I will do fine in life. Like I'm probably going to figure some shit out.
I manifested this shit, dude. I'm not going to lie. If I feel like, I don't know if manifestation actually works, but I do feel like somehow like me like being like, I'm going to be fine. Like I used to sit in class and be like, I'm going to be popular. I'm going to be like a big YouTuber in the future. Mm-hmm. Like I know I'm funny. I know I'm big.
Oh yeah, me too.
And then now I'm here. So,
I used to do the same shit. And I literally used to sit at my computer. I was like, fucking one day it'll happen.
No, and exactly. And that was the thing with me where like, I would think that, but then when I was in middle school and high school, especially, I just knew in the back of my brain, I'm not going to work a normal job. I convinced myself, and like, I'm telling you right now, if you talk to me like at all from like 8th grade to senior year, especially, I'm telling you right now, I would have told you with a straight face without like any like convincing whatsoever, I'm not going to do a normal job and I'm not going to like go into college. Like I just knew that from like a very early point. And like, is it the smartest thing on earth? No, because I do the bare minimum and I get by. Okay. God's like handing me like so many fucking handouts. I'm grateful for it, but I'm just getting by. But like, it was just one of those things where I just realized, I have a lot of connections. I have all this shit. I'm not going to need to go to college. I'm not going to work a normal job. And then I just did YouTube and I got very lucky and I got very fortunate and I got a good amount of money and I convinced my mom that I'm a YouTuber and now I'm here because of it. So kind of crazy how it works out. When I really like drunkenly think about what my life is, it's actually insane because I could easily just be doing a snack shack job that I was doing before because that's what I did. I did a snack shack job at a fucking country club with a bunch of rich people. And I was like, these people are fucking pretentious douchebags. And then I did YouTube.
Did they tip good at least? Did you get good tips out of them?
There's no tipping.
Oh.
There's not a tip system. I got paid good hourly. I got paid good hourly.
How much are we talking per hour?
I think for me, keep in mind, I was like 17, 16. I was getting paid like $15 an hour, $16 an hour. And all I was doing was sitting in a snack shack, eating the snacks, sitting there waiting for like a fucking random kid who picks his nose, be like, I want an ice cream cone. And I'd like fucking do the ice cream machine and like twirl it around and be like, here you go. And then he'd leave. Like, and then sometimes like kids would be like, I want you to play me ping pong. And my manager was super cool. My manager is super cool. Shout out to her. Mm-hmm. She'd be like, all right, you can play. I'm like, and I'd like fucking play ping pong with like these kids. Like, fuck you. I'm like, I fucking worked your ass.
That's fun.
And then
so basically you were a professional ping pong player at one point.
No, yeah. And then I just had like really cool coworkers and I knew some of the people that worked at the pool and they'd come in sometimes and we'd talk. Like one of my best friends, Deke, literally worked with me at certain points at the place. And he would like come in and we would talk because I've known him since like I was like 4 or 5. Like
Deke.
I've known him
That's
for
such
long.
a Kentucky name, Deke.
But I love Deke. Shout out to Deke.
Shout out to Deke.
He's a legend, and we'd work together, and then he'd come in. No, literally, shout out to Deke. And then we'd talking to fucking shit, and then he would like leave, and then I'd like get back to like sitting on a bench. And then the thing is, like when I did that job, I learned how to use a fucking like I did like the Krusty Krab like thing. Like I learned how to like flip patties, and I learned how to fry shit, and I was like, okay, I got pretty good at it. And like also now, if you told me like if I had a soft serve like machine and I had to do it myself, I know how to do like the perfect techniques for it. Like I know how to do the swirl, how to do like the plump ones, you know, where it's like kind of like round or whatever. I know how to do all the techniques, and like I know how to cook stuff. So yeah, you know, it was a pretty fun.
Open up your own little burger place.
I definitely won't, but you know, I definitely like. It was such an easy job, and it was so like. There'd be days I'm like, I don't want to go in, and I'd be like, I'm sick, like I'm not feeling well, and she'd be like, okay, fine, you don't have to come in. I'm like, yes. And then, you know, it all went downhill when my 17-year-old self learned that I could get Postmates to my door with my money, and that's why today I'm not a billionaire, and today I'm just a normal man. Because if I never learned about Postmates, I feel like today I'd be Warren Buffett with my money. But, you know, it's fine.
It costs a lot, and it's so convenient.
It stacks up over time. It really does. And
why wouldn't I if I could just go on an app and
especially
have any
now
food,
here.
Any food I can think of.
Exactly.
Immediately just delivered to my food, and usually just like you can fucking get it from like gourmet restaurants, best quality restaurants. Why would I ever fucking do anything ever again?
Exactly.
I think that's what is the biggest thing about like you know, any entrepreneurs out there, I'm spilling the beans for you. Just try to make people's life as convenient as possible, because then people are just always going to choose your option if they can, because people
are lazy.
People are lazy. Convenience is everything. And yeah, that's like the fucking reason why these food apps are just so like, especially like in Europe, especially, it's very common for them to use bicycles and shit. In the UK, I realize it's scooters that are like very, very common. But in like for here, for example, you just see so many cycles going around where they got like the little food delivery bags in their back, and they're just like cycling around delivering food. They're just like so widespread now. It's crazy to think about. Like, do you remember the first time you ordered food? I remember the first time I ordered food, and I literally remember telling my mom, I was like, I just ordered some Chinese food through this app, and my mom was literally like, "Oh, you just got scammed. They're not gonna bring it to you."
No, I remember very vividly. It was VidCon 2017 when I was just a Twitter meme guy, and I was with fucking, you know who he is. I was with Danny Yorston, and he was ordering KFC on his phone. And I was like, what? Like, you're ordering KFC on your phone? He's like, yeah, like, it's going to be delivered to the house. Like, you want some? I was like, yeah, I want some. Like, are you kidding me? Like, I've never, like, this is insane. I can just get KFC delivered to the house. And I got delivered, and I was the last person to get my fucking food. People were ordering after me and getting their food before me. And this KFC guy took maybe 2 hours to bring this fucking KFC. And I walked out there and like, hey man, like, thank you for the KFC. He was like, yeah, whatever. Meanwhile, his ass was sitting in the fucking parking lot for like 3 hours. And I was like, oh my God. And people were like getting their food like, man, your shit's not here still? I was like, oh, you're so funny. Like, awesome. But it was the first time I ever got food in general. And then I remember the first time I got food with a paycheck was Wendy's. I don't know why I remember. I just remember after working a snack shack, I ordered Wendy's and I was like, oh my God. Like, I'm paying for food to come to my house. I don't have to drive and get it. Like, it's just there. And then it was just so awesome.
Yeah, just think about like before like 2015, that wasn't like you could order pizza like through the phone, but that would be like a big event, I feel like. Ordering, like getting a fucking pizza, like
Yeah.
That was like a big moment. Like that was an occasion every time it happened. I don't even remember it ever happening to me. I just remember seeing it on like TV and like TV shows, and people were like, "Yeah, let's order a pizza." And then like a pizza delivery guy, they would call in. They'd be like, "Yeah, give me the pepperoni with the and then the address," and then the guy would show up.
Pizza literally would be like a thing that happens rarely, or like when you have like a sleepover, and then everyone's mom would be like, "I'm gonna order pizza for you guys," and be like, "Pizza, pizza, pizza," and then I'd order pizza.
Yeah,
and then it'd be a whole thing.
It really makes you think about how when things are like happen more rarely, like that, then it feels so amazing. But then you just start using it every day, and it feels like nothing.
True, that's literally Postmates. Like I remember getting Postmates for the first couple of times. I was like, "Whoa!" Like this guy just like showed up in my house with my order. Like I didn't have to. Walk
it felt so crazy that like this person was coming to your house.
And now it's like almost as if God has programmed this random person to fucking show up at my door every day, like dropping my food.
It used to be. It honestly felt like kind of personal, like that this man was coming to your house with his food,
and you had to like make contact with him. But like now, because of like COVID and because like they kind of realize like people
just leave it at the door.
It's always just left at the door now. Like every single time I get food, it's always left at the door now, and like. It's almost as if like God like heard my prayers in my mind, took like $20 out of my bank account, and then this like dropped down like my food that I wanted on like the doorstep. I'm like, thanks God, and then I just like grab my food and eat it. And like I don't even think twice. Like I don't think like what that person's day is gonna be. I don't think like what they're thinking when they're getting my food. I don't think about that at all. And it's like that's a human being that like dedicated their life that hour or whatever to get my food so that I can pay them. It's like that's kind of crazy.
I maybe see my delivery people like once a month at this point. Like there'll be one guy that's like, I really got to knock.
Oh, dude, it's always a guy. Knock. Dude, when I see the fucking notifications like they called and you did not pick up, 8-minute timer has started. That's when I'm like, this motherfucker's gonna open the door. I'm gonna open the door and he's gonna be right there. Because these motherfuckers that always call, I'm like, dude, it doesn't make sense. I put down on the thing, don't knock, don't ring the doorbell, just leave it there. I'll go grab it when I want to grab it, okay? I don't want this fucking doorbell or knock to go off. And then the Corys are like filming or whatever, and they're like, I don't know what's going on at the door, you know? And then meanwhile, it's just my fucking Wendy's order, you know? I don't want to do that. Or I don't want to like have it happen late night. Like my drunk guys might get some food after this, you know? I don't want fucking the ring doorbell or whatever to go off and wake up Weston with it, you know, or Kalen with it. You know, it's like, I just always say, don't knock, don't ring the doorbell. There's always that one motherfucker every month that decides,
every time,
like fucking bangs on it or like rings the doorbell or calls me. I'm like, dude, just leave it there. It says to leave it there, man. I don't want to give you like, I could have COVID for all you know. I don't want to give you that. I don't even have it. But.
Maybe they're like paranoid about leaving it because they've had experience in the past where like somebody just. They lost the package. They lost the food. And now,
but I think about that too, where I'm like, do they think it's the wrong house? But like, if you see the address and you know it's the address that's on your phone, you don't need to feel bad about leaving it there. Because I promise you, that's on them if they made the fucking mistake of putting the wrong address, you know? But like, if you leave at the wrong house, that's on you because your ass should have seen it. All right? Like, I don't know what to tell you. Some of these people, I've never had it happen here, but dude, motherfuckers in Kentucky are blind as bats and they'll leave it like 3 houses down or sometimes a neighborhood down. I'm like, dude, how do you fuck up so bad where it's a neighborhood down and my ass has to get in a car to drive and see if you left it on the fucking doorstep of this random person? Like, it's insane. Like, that's a possibility. But like, that actually happened to me once with Chick-fil-A where I ordered Chick-fil-A. And it was literally a neighborhood down, and I had to get my car and drive and like check. And the people took it. The people took it on the fucking doorstep. Like, dude, I saw the photo that they took, and it was on the doorstep, and these people just took it and they ate it.
That happened with my neighbor. People used to like my daughters used to leave it on the floor above me. And then one time I had this big ass McDonald's order, like a shit ton of things, and I realized. Because I walked out my door, it wasn't there. I realized, oh my God. As I walked out, I realized that I heard the door upstairs open and I heard them with like paper bags. So they literally,
oh my God,
this random bag of McDonald's, which by the way had my address on it. So they could have been like, oh yes, this was that guy's. My neighbors upstairs were fucking pieces of shit. Honestly, biggest, like, not just because of this, obviously, but like in general, you could tell that they were just annoying fucking people. They saw the name, they saw the address, they knew my family, they knew it was mine, but they just kind of went like, oh fuck it, let's take it. But I mean, at the end of the day, it wasn't too big of a deal because I went to the app and they said, oh, we'll have a new one sent.
Yeah.
But that's kind of crazy because those people just got that meal for free like that.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie though, like as much as I did shit on like the person that like took my food, if an Uber Eats order was delivered to our house and I look in and it's nothing like anything I even got, like it's not the same restaurant, it's not the same food, I don't know what I would do. Because I think, like, do I leave it outside and then like they maybe check my house and then they grab it, or like
I've had moments like that where one time I ordered a pizza and I opened up the pizza and I was like, this is literally nothing like I ordered. And then I heard another knock on my door and the guy realized before he got in the car. Usually because I've had that happen other times as well, but usually what happens is they're just like, okay, keep the order. We'll bring you your actual one. And then I guess that person also gets their actual one.
That's
crazy. Which is insane because then I had so much food. Because they brought me like I had this order that I could tell was for like 2 people because I had 2 drinks and like a bunch of different little meals from the same restaurant that I ordered from, but it wasn't anything that I ordered. And then I remember I contacted support and they're like, oh yeah, it turns out the delivery driver mixed up the bag, so that means they got my order.
Oh my God.
They literally had gotten my order. So then we both just got new orders. But then at that point, I had so much food that I was like, I don't know what to do with this. Like, I wish they would have just given me a refund because I'll eat this. I'll eat these people's food. Like, this is good. This is good stuff.
Yeah. She's like, that's crazy, man. The thing with me is like, if I get somebody's wrong order, I always get like the worst fucking food. Like, it's like these fucking people don't know how to eat and they're eating like fucking pig slop. And I'm like, what is this? Yep. Like, it's like these gross ass burgers or like these gross ass like meals. I'm like, I can't eat this. Like, why did I have to get this wrong meal off any order? And then like I asked my family when I was in Kentucky, I'm like, does anyone want this? Does anyone want this? And of course nobody wants it because it's like 11:30 p.m. And everyone's like, actually, like, I'm actually tired. I'm actually going to like wake up for my job. And I'm like, okay, I guess I'll throw it away.
You know what challenge we should do in Austin? We do the drive-through challenge where we are like, we go to the drive-through and we're like, we'll get what the person in front of us got.
Yeah, that's an awesome challenge, man. I'm sure
dude, that's how Steph Pappas became the fucking powerhouse that she is on YouTube. I watched that video of hers. I was like, that's good content.
Or we could go to any drive-through place and then we fucking pay for everyone's meal. Or no, we do like the
Who cares about that?
Or we could do, I don't know why I said that. I was thinking in my head, we could do the epic mealtime thing. We're like, fucking 50 Big Macs. And they're like, I don't know what to do here. 50 Big Macs, that's too many. And you're like, I have 155,000 chicken McNuggets. And you're like, you stress out all these like fucking people working at McDonald's. You're like, can you pull up? And you're like, okay.
That would cause like such a clog at the fucking restaurant because the people behind you, they're not gonna get their food for a while.
Yeah,
because they're just gonna be making your fucking Big Mac, your McNuggets. God, that's such a pain in the ass to just everybody except yourself.
It's crazy that Epic Mealtime used to be like, I'll have 200 Big Macs, I'll have 200 Whoppers, I'll have 120 piece nuggets. And you'd be like, can you just pull around real quick? And be like, sure. And then you just pay for it. And they'd be like, we got the epic bacon meal. And then it's like, and then like fucking squish it all together. And then they'd get fucking muscle glasses, like, muscle glasses, finish this off. And you'd be like,
And they were able to charge all of it to the company card.
I know. And they made millions. Billions, actually. They made billions of dollars.
They're going to be the world's first trillionaires. The stock's still going up.
That'd actually be insane if like it turned out Epic Mealtime is like the only YouTube account to make billions of dollars.
That would be unreal, but I'd also be like, if out of any, maybe them.
FPS Russia has made $1 billion off his YouTube videos.
Oh, dude, fucking new Painkiller podcast fucking clip. FPS Russia got his guns taken away. Here's him telling that story for the fucking 7th episode in a row.
FPS Russia. He was in jail, and let me start right now. He saw a security guard. He was talking to a jailmate. You know, that's kind of crazy.
Yeah, somebody cursed in his jail.
I heard somebody curse him right next to me. He said fuck. He said fuck for sure.
I just love like how some of these like it seems especially common amongst like white dudes. Like these white dudes go to jail for like 3 months. And they come home and all of a sudden they do a podcast where they tell these stories for like 6 years where they're like, yeah, so dude, at one point, like I had to like fucking take a shit and it was like mad awkward. Like it was crazy.
It was awkward because there's a guy next to me and he's like, yeah, what's up, man? I'm a guy next to you.
Because Jeff Wittick is the same shit. He's also like all the fucking day. Like that's the thing is they love to use these people. They get on their little podcast. So you were in jail, right? Like what the fuck was that like?
Oh my god, you're in jail for like 10 years. Like that's crazy. That's crazy. You're incarcerated for fucking selling weed. Isn't that crazy? Like yeah, man, I was incarcerated.
What kind of an effect do you think a year in prison would have on you?
God, who knows? Like I really don't know. Like
I think I'd be crazy.
I would be kind of crazy. I don't know if I'd be jacked. Because a lot of people will come out of jail and they're like, and they're like fucking jacked. I might be jacked for all I know, but I have no
I feel like for me, it would be like, I'll go and like, yeah, I'm going to become jacked. And then I realize when I get depressed, I just don't do anything. Like, I'm not going to work out. I'm just going to sit. I'm going to lay there on the bed, read a book maybe. I might read some books. That might happen.
God, I would hate to go to jail though. Like, I think it's probably like the worst thing in my mind. Like, if I went to jail, I would hate it.
Damn.
Which
Jack
I mean, like,
Hooverr,
no,
you're arrested. That's your nightmare.
I would hate to go and get arrested. You know,
get a mugshot though.
I'm a good abiding citizen.
That could be a good merch. Get a little mugshot.
No, that would be kind of fun. You know, like I get like a mugshot and then I get like
mugshot challenge.
Like I don't know, like actually being arrested for like months. That's not fun. That would be awkward.
I feel like we've reached a good time here with the Cool Dog. We don't want to make it too long, I guess.
True. It was a good episode. We had a lot of good comments, a lot of good things to talk about. I like the way that we did this podcast.
Yeah, me too. It was a great time. Thank you for joining us. Cool Dog will be regular once more. It's back. Yay. Everybody go crazy. I don't know, like this podcast will probably get like 500 views.
No, literally we'll get like people like, yo, like I'm getting nostalgia listening to Cool Dog again because that's how long it's been since we uploaded.
True. It'll literally
like,
be like,
remember? Like,
half our audience has fucking died, probably.
Or like they're in like fucking mid school now.
Literally.
I'll do one final shot to commemorate. Do you have a wine glass still?
Empty.
Pour a little more for a shot.
Yeah, sure. I'll pour out the whole bottle.
This will be like a New Year's toast because we didn't do like anything because this is technically our first episode of the new year.
That is true. Happy 2022. It's going to be a
happy 2022. Year. It's going to be crazy. It's definitely going to be a really interesting year.
For sure.
Regardless of like what we even know is about to happen. So, you know, guys, dink it, sink it. Happy New Year. Cool Dog 2022. Give us some money.
That's true. Sub to us on Twitch and like when we re-release the merch, buy it.
Or just like find your Streamlabs link and donate.
But yeah, goodbye everybody. Bye.
Bye. Hope you all have a great day.